evening. My name is Amy Stock. I live in Saratoga Springs, but I work in Troy and study in Albany. And I co-founded a group in Saratoga called Sustainable Saratoga. But I'm here on behalf of myself and for my friends and colleagues who live in Albany. When I first heard about this issue, the first thing that came to my mind was this is a classic environmental justice issue. 20 years ago in graduate school, we studied environmental justice. And what that means, or that injustice, is that for too long, communities of color and low-income communities have been disproportionately impacted by industrial pollution, waste, and hazard. Disproportionately. And that needs to stop. And it's also time that those communities be heard. Now, I don't live here immediately, but I appreciate the speakers and presentations, but when I heard that presentation by Global Partners, my thought was, that's all you got. I have a lot more questions, and I'm sure you do too. So I encourage the DEC, as others have, to rescind the negative declaration. You need to do a full review and absolutely need to pull in the public into this process. Those mothers and grandmothers and those babies who are living and working in this neighborhood need to be involved. And we also need to look at this broader issue, which is about our reliance on fossil fuels. We need more community-based renewable energy projects. And Global Partners, which is a Fortune 500 company with over 800 gas stations, should perhaps look at developing that kind of alternative than this. So I thank you, and I am here to actually support the community leaders and members who live here in this community to please go to them and speak to them and get their input, because their voice is what matters.
Amy Allen.
Good evening, I'm Amy Allo, and I live in Albany, in the city of Albany. I'm speaking on a related issue to not just the direct environmental consequences that most people have spoken to here. According to the New York Times, federal records show the number of gallons of oil spilled in the United States last year far outpaced the total amount spilled by rails from 1975 to 2012. Global Companies LLC transports Bakken-sourced oil by rail through Albany and currently seeks to expand its operations in or around Albany. A review of Global's 2012 10K declaration reveals that the company is not fully insured against the risks inherent in its business. I would call upon DEC to require Global to comply with a full disclosure and all requirements of federal and state law about its financial capabilities in the process of reviewing the application for the modification. Thank you.
Leah Colby. Okay. Roger Downs.
Yeah. Hi, I would like to at least exchange my my speaking role with Charlene. That's all right.
Good evening. My name is Charlene Benton. I live down in Ezra, and I don't live down there, but I'm the president of the Tenant Association. We need for DEC to open up the process of inclusion, not exclusion. This came into us, and it came at us from secrecy. I mean, Global was supposedly had involved the community, but Global put it in the Times Union in the legal section. Now that's not trying to reach our community. We have disproportionately been subject to the possibility, and in fact, the possibility of health risks and need safety issues. Now, again, with the environmental justice law, that should not have happened. We are now asking We are now asking, and more importantly, we're saying to you, no more. No more secrecy. Rescind. We need, first of all, I'm losing my train of thought here because I need to say, first of all, we need an environmental impact study done. We don't even know when the last one was done. All of this information has been kept from this community, and I believe it's because it is a minority and a low income. But that doesn't mean that we don't have rights. And we're asking you to rescind the negative permanent declaration, because that's not true. That's an inaccurate statement, and nobody challenged it. I mean, DEC, you are guilty. There's some guilty.
Yep.
And what I mean by guilty of just sliding things through. I don't know how far this goes, and I really don't care. But on behalf of Ezra, where it's in our backyards, our kids play in the playground, if they have an environmental impact study, I can almost assure that that ground's all over there. Now, we got kids that have asthma at disproportionate rates. We have respiratory illness, and what are we going to do if there is a catastrophic emergency? If we have to be evacuated, it's not going to be time enough. So don't endanger our lives and our children's life, and bring us to the table with you. And DEC, you should be ashamed of yourselves, because this should not have gone this far.
Leah Goldie.
Thank you. I'm Leah Goldie, council member for the 10th Ward in the City of Albany. I just have to say thank you, Ms. Benton. I met you a couple of weeks ago down at Ezra Prentice. It is really, the only word that comes to me is just sickening. It is just sickening to me that 20 years after President Clinton signed the environmental justice law, the people of the City of Albany have been ignored by the DEC. Their own 10-year-old environmental justice policy has just been overlooked for big business. The Albany Common Council on January 6th of this year, which was 5 weeks ago, unanimously passed a resolution calling for an environmental justice review, and we also asked 3 simple things. So this was before the 50-some-odd questions that were contributed by the community, but we just asked 3 simple things that were actually taken. Most of that resolution was taken by a letter written by Dominic Casolaro. I basically copied his letter because I thought it was brilliant. But we asked for a meeting like this to be held and for the public to be given the following 3 things. We want to know the type of petroleum products that will be heated. The type of petroleum products that will be heated. We want to know the potential health effects of air contaminants. And we want to know the safety measures that are in place should there be a leak of this petroleum product or a fire. I did not hear answers to any of those tonight, and I do look forward to continuing dialogue. I also want to stress that I do believe that the SECRA review has not been done properly. SECRA is there for agencies to give a hard look. A hard look has not been given.
And your time is up.
Okay, I just wanted to say, given the safety issues of the DOT 111s, the known volatility of the Bakken crude oil, that it is imperative that the DEC rescind the negative declaration and require a full environmental impact statement.
Susan Lawrence.
I'd like to ask that I can pass my time over to Roger Downs at the Sierra Club, please. Thank you.
Sorry, this is the last time I'll do this show. I want to echo the comments of Councilwoman Vivian Cornegay in that I don't think that this is a very satisfactory process. We called for a public forum. We wanted answers to questions. Global was not out there at the tables to answer basic questions. And I think at this point we really do want to give and take. And I want to hear basic answers. Tar sands. Will we be receiving tar sands here? It's a very simple question with a simple answer. We'd like that. I would like to ask Global why in their permit application they said that they would be doubling the amount of oil coming into Albany, but not increasing a single rail car coming into Albany. I would like to ask the DEC how they approved that permit. Why didn't they ask the question? How are you going to bring more crude into Albany without doubling rail cars? Basically, this is an incredibly dangerous process. In talking with DOT, talking with others out there, nobody will say that the 111 cars are safe or that they can be made safe in a timely manner. There's just an issue of production. There's virtually no way in the next 5 years that we can replace this fleet of 111 cars to something that doesn't puncture, that doesn't derail immediately. That isn't derail prone. And if we look over the past year, there's been more oil spilled by these 111 cars in 2013 than the 40 years combined. So we are asking DEC to use your full authority, rescind the NEGDEC, and I will say that Global erred in saying that DEC is the lead agency here. The City of Albany, the Planning Board also has jurisdiction. DEC is not the lead agency. This should be a coordinated review. That this should be done together. There are two lead agencies here. This should be done in coordinated fashion. They should rescind the NEGDEC and we should see a full EIS. Thank you.
Betty Head.
Good evening. My name is Betty Head, and I live in Altamont. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. I've often said that there's not enough shaming in public anymore, and I think if there were, we wouldn't be here tonight because there are a lot of things to be shameful about. And many of us know what they are, and I won't go into that because we don't have time, but as we file out tonight, we can count on more than 2 hands how many shameful things have been done in the name of profit. And speaking of profit, the reason those trains are coming into Albany is shareholders, people. And I would ask the universities and the big corporations and the big money organizations in Albany to look at their portfolios and see how much of their portfolios are vested in crude oil, tar sands, and other mucky-muck investments that they should probably divest themselves of. And I say, go for it. And the last thing I'd like to say is, if we have 10 inspectors, I'd like to have 30 or 40 or 50. Let's really get what we deserve and demand it. Thank you.
Carol Tansey.
My name is Carol Tansey, and I live in Albany. I wanted to ask the representative for the Global Industries, and I believe he has the name Keith or Keith. I wonder if you would spell your last name for us. Okay. I want to say to Global Industries that when you bought that property in 2007, and 7 years have passed since that time. You didn't get in touch with us then, and you're barely reaching out to us now. You're just here because we've insisted on it. So we insist that you won't be able to build your boilers, and that we're going to drive you out of town.
Sandy Stubing.
Gosh, I really don't know how to follow that one. Okay, so my name's Sandy Stubing, and I'm with a new organization called PAUSE, People of Albany United for Safe Energy. And we've just organized about 5 weeks ago around this issue, but we wanted it to be positive. So, we're united for safe energy, which means renewables. And people don't know. People think that, okay, we have to have fossil fuels some way, somehow. That's not true. There is renewable technology right here, right now, that we can be using, and we don't need these oil trains coming through our city. So please get that into your head, that we do not need fossil fuels, we can use renewables. And if you're interested in our organization, please get in touch with me. And as you can see, I'm easy to identify. Okay? Right. Okay. And that was serious, but on a really serious note, I want to thank my representatives, my local representatives, the city and the county level. They've been great, because I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. The DEC, I won't go there. Other people went there, so you know, I'll echo Betty. Shame. Okay. We need to have a national conversation about the extreme energy extraction that has been going on, the fracking. I know they didn't want us to talk about fracking, but seriously, people, that's where we get the oil. That's where we get the gas. We used all the easy to get stuff. We did that the last century, in the 20th century. This is the 21st century. This is the century of renewables. And we can't be going there because of the environment and because of our health and safety. We just got to put the fossil fuels away. It's time for renewables. Thank you.